Good afternoon to all the colleagues who are watching us online today. First of all, happy Research Administrators Day on this 25th September 2023. My name is Borana Taraj. I'm head of EU projects at EARMA, and I'm here today with EARMA's managing director, Nick Claesen. Today, we are holding this webinar to officially launch the newly established Knowledge and Community Platform that is an initiative under the RM Roadmap project funded by the European Commission Horizon Europe Framework Program for Research and Innovation. To provide you with some context information, we started the RM Roadmap initiative exactly 1 year ago, September 2022, and we are running still for 2 additional years until 2025. We hope that many of you are somehow familiar with the RM Roadmap initiative or have heard to some degree. If you are here today, that means that somehow you have in different platforms. So you might have heard that the mission and ambition of the RM Roadmap project is at the very heart of the profession of research managers and administrators. Where do we start from? So research managers, be they called administrators, data stewards, research infrastructure operators, ethics advisors, data protection officers, knowledge brokers, and many others play a key role in the successful funding and research European and international landscapes, which we know are intricate and complex. RM Roadmap, we are working together at the EARMA with other 7 European partners to improve these framework conditions for the profession of research managers, which by now is yet not recognized in many national frameworks. But how are we doing this? By building and exchanging solid knowledge and career frameworks opportunities, upskilling and networking for research managers, as well as building a roadmap and a value proposition for policymakers and institutional leaders who want to strengthen and modernize their research departments. By now, we have already established a European network of ambassadors who are around 120, covering 40 European countries, 40 European countries, and they are already acting as community builders and leaders at their national or regional levels. Soon we will also open a call for thematic ambassadors that will be representing a different dimension of the profession of research managers. So we are here now going to the next part of this webinar training, where we will present you the knowledge and community platform. And if you have any questions, please do include them in the Q&A section, and we will address them at the end of this training. So we are very numerous of us today. I see that we have around 300 colleagues who have already joined us online, and we are expecting 500 who have registered for the training session today. I will immediately now hand over to Nick Claesen, who will provide you with further insights on the role of the knowledge and community platform on the overall process of collective knowledge building, and how, in particular, how each of you can contribute to the upcoming consultations. Nick, the floor is yours.
Hello, hi everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for coming. This is really the exciting part of RM Roadmap is starting. We did all of this work the past year on building an ambassador network. We worked on the software. We worked on so many different parts and different work packages, looking at definition, preparing surveys, and so on and so on. But the lights are really coming on now in RM Roadmap, and you'll be noticing that starting today, really, and starting definitely over the next weeks, when we'll be launching both our co-creation exercise, for which we have built this platform, of course, and also the surveys coming online at pretty much the same time. So what you signed up for today is to have a look inside the system for the first time and see how it works. We've tried to make it as simple as possible for all of you to contribute so that it's low threshold and that you can get in quite easily. Borana already said it really right, but this is, we feel, sort of a crucial time. Outside of forget our roadmap for a minute, of course, that's what we're all about today, but there is just such a great momentum within Europe, both in ERA Action 17, which is the policy around research management, the CARDEA project, our roadmap project, just national initiatives everywhere, associations popping up, growing, improving, professionalizing. So it's really great time to be moving forward as a research management community. And again, like Borana said, it's research support research managers and administrators. It's inclusive, inclusive, inclusive. If you're thinking right now, are these people included, which could be research management, the answer, managers, the answer to that is yes. So it's inclusive, and that's also how it was defined within the call which led to this project. So today we're going to go through the system, and I'm going to show you very practically how you can participate. And I believe we have made that a quite simple setup for you to do so. So let's jump into that, and then later we'll go into also where can you find additional resources. We've put quite some effort into designing resources for you to fall back on, a step-by-step guide, FAQ. We're making videos and so on, so you can take advantage of that. There is one other thing also. As a contributor, as a participant to this exercise, you have a national ambassador. All of those national ambassadors we have put on the website with their name, their email address. They're trying to reach out to you as well. You can reach out to them using the system, but just to know, your first point of contact as somebody from a specific country is your country ambassador. Also show you where you can find all of the information, but we've tried to put it everywhere so you can pretty much not miss who your ambassador is. So with that, I'll share my screen. And how do you start the co-creation exercise? Simply by going to the EARMA website. And on the EARMA website, if you are already a member or a guest of EARMA, you can log in. And you don't have to go through the registration. Otherwise, go to the RM registration. Just to be clear, you're not signing up for EARMA, but just for the project. So you click RM registration, and there is a short form here. You need to comply with the GDPR guidelines, so the privacy policy. For time's sake, I've already filled this with a testing account. And so when you filled all of this out, it's your country, your job title, your affiliation, you register, and you go into the site. The site is right now live. We just pushed it live, I think, fully open today. So here you will see the various country communities. So you see here RM Roadmap groups. If you're logged in, you don't need to register anymore, but here you see RM groups. And the thing is then, it should be very simple. You go to your specific country. You've also got some search functions to find them. There's 40 countries there. So pretty much all of the larger European zone. And in this case, I am Belgian. So I go to the Belgian group. I click join as a contributor, and then I go in. I have now signed up to RM Roadmap, the groups on the one hand, and on the other hand, I am now part of the Belgian group by joining as a contributor. So you see the Belgian flag, or whatever flag it would be from the country you're joining, so it should be easy to see and realize where you are at all times. Now, here are a number of options you have. First, the welcome message. So please read that welcome message clearly, and we're going to be putting in other messages here as well that can help you. So there's a welcome message with some guidance. You can then go to the code of conduct. Please have a look there, the code of conduct for using the co-creation exercise. And thirdly, then, where can you find the results? So where we are here is the co-creation platform, right? So here we're going to do the discussions. We're going to, let's say, produce what we want to produce in the co-creation, and then it will be pushed out in a lot of ways, of course, but primarily through the Crowd Helix, the research management Helix, and also to the website, so managed by Crowd Helix. On the right here, you see notifications, and please do turn these on. So you go into the notifications, you turn them on, and when you update that, that means that when we start a new session in 3-4 months, you get an email automatically. That means also and that's also towards the ambassadors, if the ambassadors or EARMA puts in a notification, then you will be able to get it as an email as well. So if we say, okay, we're about ready to end the co-creation exercise, then you will also get an email. So you update it there. And let's see here. you update it there. I think that is now successful. And then you will be going back to the page I was just on. So here are some announcements that you can read. And the thing is really sort of happening here. Co-creation session 1. Always when you want to give input as a contributor, session 1. And here we have created a bit of an extra session, which is to say hello. So if you go into your co-creation session 1 for your country, you will currently see a draft. We're still working on this a little bit, but it's quite close to what it will be. A draft of information, what you need to take part in the co-creation. You scroll down, and here you will then see where you can type in your specific message. I'm just double checking everybody sees my presentation correctly, right? Or my sharing. Yeah. Okay. So you will be able to type it in. We've closed this for now because the co-creation is only starting 2nd of October. What you can do currently is go to this introduction session, right? Introduction, say hello, and it's pretty much the same setup, right? I'm in this session now, and I will be able to say here, hi, I am Nick from EARMA. And then you can introduce yourself a little bit more, maybe say what your job title is, you add there what you want to add, you reply, and here you have replied. And now I have a bit of a funny testing name, obviously, but you will be, you can put that in, put a comment in here as you will. And this is exactly the same way that you will be able to feed into the co-creation exercise once it opens. I've explained quite a bit now, of course, but it's really quite simple to do, right? So you go to the top right, you fill the application form. Then in this case, I'm from Albania. I joined as a contributor. Here I can find the messages, so the initial information to read. I can turn on my notifications here on this side, and then I can go introduce myself currently. And on the 2nd of October, I can join the Albanian co-creation exercise. Go down, and at that point I will be able to add here my answers, the discussion, whatever you want to put in at that point. Now I'll go to the timeline for a moment. So we already have a predefined timeline actually for the next 1.5 years. Look at the EARMA website, and there you have a very nice timeline for the whole project, including all of the co-creation exercises for 1.5 years. I won't show all of those right now, but more the immediate timing that we have. So in just a moment. So here, this is part of the website. Maybe I'll show you how to get there. So this is the RM Roadmap website. And when you go to Community Connect, and also on the homepage, there's quite a lot of information. So you go to Community Connect, and here you will be able to get a lot of information that you need, or if you forget something. We are recording this as well, and it will be available to everybody who wants to see it. Here you see how the co-creation works, and when you scroll down, you have 2 guides here. So everything I explained now, step by step, you will see here how you contribute, what the timing is, what is coming up, the full timeline you can see here, and you can see here, how do I join, where do I need to click to join if you forgot something from today. You can review all of that at your own pace from wherever you are. Then you also have here to the right, frequently asked questions. So here's a bunch of questions that you might be having, which you can find the answer to right here. And you can also find that on the website itself. I'll just show you. So now I'm back on the EARMA website. Here under Help, you can type in RM Roadmap. And you will see here, how can I sign up for the Knowledge and Community platform? What will be done with the results of a poll, for example, a question, and there you can find the information as well. So we've really tried to make sure that you can almost not miss all of the resources and also make it as simple as possible. So I go back maybe to what is important is the current timing. Here, this is also on the website, on the main page, you'll be able to see the overall timeline, but also the timeline we have here. So for the co-creation, what we're going to do right now it's onboarding, we're showing the system to everyone, and then you will be able to see here or able to participate really in the co-creation exercise as of 2nd of October. So we will open it on the 2nd of October and close it 2 working weeks later, October 13th. So this is the space where you have the opportunity to give input. Please do give input and let people come in. As I said, we have great momentum with the research management community, but it's very important that we show also to the stakeholders, to the European Commission, but also especially at the national level, both for member states and non-member states, that, okay, there is a research management community out there. They have a voice. We have here a nice way to capture that voice, and that we can show also that a lot of people contributed in this. So we have 2 weeks to do that contribution, and then we will let the ambassadors, let's say the leaders of this co-creation exercise at the national levels, the in-between, the community builders, the ambassadors, they will have 2 weeks to work on a consensus document. So they look at the discussion and form, based on a template that the project will provide, they form a consensus document, and then the voting starts. So 2 weeks after that, so you can write it already in your schedule, from October 30th to November 10th, you also have the voting to do, which is very straightforward, and which I will show you in just a moment, so just now. So I go back into, in this case, we're in the Albanian group. I go back, me being Belgian, I go to the Belgian group. I view the group, and let's have a look here. So here you have the top tabs, which you have not seen before, right? Or which we didn't cover before. You have a consensus document. So this document that is going to be produced after 4 weeks. Remember, 2 weeks co-creation, 2 weeks for the ambassadors to draft this document. The consensus document will be put here. Now, I've just put a document there as a test, so you will be able to see the document here. Click it. In this case, it's a picture, right? But we'll upload a document there when the time comes. Now what you will be doing then, the voting, the polling is here under polls. And under polls, it will be as simple as, this is the first Belgian poll. This is again a testing version. You will be able to see how much time remains in the poll. And then you will be able to vote on that poll, which is very simple. You click vote, and you click support, don't support, or abstain, depending on how you feel that you should vote, of course. I'm here to say support does not mean that you agree with everything in the document. This is a consensus document, an open exercise, right? What it means is that it is it is representative of the discussion that was had up to an acceptable standard, right? If you feel it's not representative of the discussion up to an acceptable standard, you put don't support, and otherwise you say abstain. Even if you don't want to support or abstain, this is important, of course, because we want to see how many people participated in this process, and also, of course, validate that this is a document which is representative. So I click support, I click vote, and here I can see that 1 vote has been cast from the number of members, which is a bit strange here, but normally this works.
No one has registered yet, so
yeah,
we're just going live.
Yeah, so normally this works very very well. Other features you have here, you have the group members, which we see that while we have been open, maybe Daniela has here joined as one of, I see, okay, there's a number of people who, while we have been speaking, I think have joined here. So you would be able to message them, and I'll just try to message my colleague Borana, for example. You will be able to say, hi, noticed you. Do you also write proposals? So just saying something, of course, and when that is sent, that will be able to be received by Borana, and you can chat in that way. Okay, so I now go back to my profile, to the ARM roadmap groups on the top right, into the country. So that's pretty much it. I repeat, just for simplicity, because I've explained quite a few things. You come to the EARMA website, you click top right, you register, or you go directly to the groups. You choose whatever country is relevant to you. Here you see all of them. Maybe important to say there is, you can join multiple countries, but please don't if you don't have the expertise or the knowledge of that country, right? So if I'm Belgian, but also I've lived in Austria, worked in Austria, and I know the current sort of Austrian landscape and research management and administration, great, I join as a contributor. If I don't, please don't then, so we can adequately track what's happening for each country. Okay, so I go in, so I came in, ARM roadmap groups, found the Belgian group, registered to the Belgian group by clicking joining as contributor. I read the information, I click co-creation session 1 as of 2nd of October. I read the information here, I go down, I add whatever my comment would be or what my information would be, and pretty much you could say done for the 2 weeks. Of course, it is the idea that you come back, have a look what others have posted, add to that, have a little bit of a discussion. 2 working weeks. At the second working week, we end, and then the ambassadors will create a consensus document. The consensus document will then become available under this tab. You can read it, you can have a look at it, and then you can vote if you support or do not support. If you want to go back and look at the session announcements, so all the announcements that have been posted, they will be here. Maybe you might be surprised in the sense that you see here there are group announcements, so that's a little bit different. The session announcements are in the session itself, right? So co-creation session, we have no session announcement here, but this is the space where your ambassador will give you some information, introduce themselves, and might give extra information. So you can see that here, it will pop up here, and then you can also see it in session announcement. So pretty much it's as simple as that. You go to the EARMA website, sign up, you're already signed up. You go to your country, you read the documentation, you put in your post, and then you keep putting in posts as you find it relevant. And after 4 weeks later, you can vote on the consensus document, and then you have contributed to the co-creation exercise. So that's how it works. We have tried to keep it simple. We've tried to make it straightforward for everybody to participate, for all countries to participate. It's important to say also that we are trying to do this really from sort of a volunteering position throughout Europe. What do I mean by that? We have a project, and usually projects, they select a few countries. We've chosen to go with everybody, and the reason why we've chosen to do that and go with all countries, because all countries are so specific. Research management is so specific, but also that we knew that there are people like the ambassadors, like the national networks that want to really participate in this, that have a leading role, that are taking leadership. And really that's also the idea, to together with national networks, informal or formal, that we all do this together. And we're relying also on the power of the community within the countries, be there a formal network or not, to get this done. So really look to your ambassadors, try to make things happen, talk about this, get people involved, and then this will be a very successful exercise. And we really hope that we can do that and present that to policymakers, to the European Commission, to make research management really move a step forward, which I think is very much possible, happening. And that's what it's about, really creating a plan together towards the future. And that's why the project is called RM Roadmap. So I think I covered a lot there, and have shown you guys how you can practically participate. I'm looking at Borana for a moment, who is in the same room as myself, to see if we have anything else scheduled, or we go to questions immediately.
We can go to the questions. There are already a few online, so we can address them on the way.
Yes. Also, the platform is open right now, right? So you can go in and go into your group, and you can go and introduce yourself at that moment. Maybe some people have already done it in the Belgium group. Not sure. Let's see if somebody has said hello. No, it's still me for now, but you can go in currently already, log on. But remember, the main co-creation session starts only on the 2nd of October.
Okay, very, very good. Thank you very much, Nick, for making this demonstration of the platform. So there is already a few questions that some of the participants today have included in the Q&A. So I'll go one by them. So in the meantime, colleagues, in case you have other questions, please do include them in the section. So the first question that we have is, do you need to do RM registration or just join the national group directly?
Yes, so you do need to do the registration, right? But you'll see there's not that many details that you have to put in, and then afterwards join the national group. Yeah. Okay. But you're registering really just to take part in the co-creation exercise, nothing more.
Okay, then that is settled. So we have another question. Is it possible the session announcement email notification is on by default for each registered participant on the KCP platform? This way, after the session announcement, we don't need to send an additional email or message to the participants so that they can vote on the consensus document.
Yes, well, that we have to see. Actually, I was hoping that as well. That's something we need to hatch out with the developers still, but I see your point indeed, that it's always always on. So we have to have a look there if that's possible. But for now, we're asking people to make sure that they check that they get announcements.
maybe I can say a few words more about that. So for now, technically, it seems that the default option is off. Also, sometimes for GDPR reasons, it is better that people go actively and click on the option. But what we have done is on the guide that Nick has showed on the EARMA website, there is a step-by-step for all the contributors where you can see that one of the steps is also to go and activate your notification. So you should not be missing this. And also I want to add that ambassadors will be adding session announcements within the session. And we have also linked this to notifications that you'll be receiving by email. So that means that if there is a new poll or the consensus document has been uploaded, the ambassadors of your group, they will be able to put a session announcement and you will receive immediately a notification by email as well. So that also somehow addresses, let's say, your concern here.
Okay, super. Thank you. Next question.
Okay, so there's a question regarding the Cardea project. So is there a collaboration with the Cardea project for research managers? And they're also referring to the meeting that was hosted this morning on their project progress as well.
Yeah, okay, yes, so definitely we are collaborating with Cardea project. Cardea project is, for people who may not know our sister project. So within the call, which is underpinning the EU policy action, or Action 17, and there are two projects funded, Cardea and ARM Roadmap. We have a close collaboration with Cardea, and we have, it's a bit technical what exactly will flow where, let's say, but we are exchanging information, we're collaborating, we're creating single platforms. For example, the career framework and the portal that is linked to that on the side of Cardea, we are feeding into it with outputs that we have. So we're definitely closely collaborating with Cardea.
Okay, then there is a question that is looking beyond Europe. So the colleague is asking if we'll be adding New Zealand, for example, as a contributor.
No. So we're keeping it European. So we have 40 countries in Europe, so we won't be adding New Zealand.
And also maybe to remind that the 40 groups that we have selected here, it's an outcome of the open recruitment that we made with the community at the beginning of this year for the ambassadors in different countries. So these 40 countries, they all have at least one ambassador, up to 4 ambassadors, and they are collaborating also with a group of associate ambassadors. So these groups also are linked to these ambassadors as well.
Yeah, indeed. We did a call, of course, but it indeed, as Borana saying, but it was for the larger European zone, which New Zealand, of course, is quite significantly outside of.
Okay, I'll go back to the next question then. I guess this is coming from one of our ambassadors. As an ambassador, will you be able to export all inputs entered during the session?
No, you won't be able to export it, so you'll have to work directly in the portal. There is a thing, though, that I cannot confirm yet, but we have also integrated our software with some AI. And we're hoping to create a rollout of that's being said that could be intelligent and using AI, but we cannot confirm that that is the case because we're still confirming a number of things, GDPR, ethics, and then also we need sufficient data to see if the AI can handle the analysis of the discussions. And if that should work, then we hope, of course, to have nice the AI look at across the sessions as well. That could be hyper interesting, but we still have to look on the ethics side, on the GDPR side, and also if it will be feasible with the data we are generating.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Nick. The next question is about the consensus documents. Why must the consensus document be in English?
Yes, so the consensus documents must be in English for the reason that we are going to spread them as soon as we can in a, let's say, European policy context, especially EU policy context as well, so that all countries can see what is currently going on in that country and that it's made for easy comparison.
And should the contributions be individual or by organization, other national groups?
Individual, so definitely individual, although you can discuss with groups and you can, and collaboration is welcome. It's co-creation. So if you have standpoints from your network, if you have a lot of people wanting to contribute from the network, if you want to translate part of the conversation that has already gone on in your national network, that is super welcome, but you are commenting as an individual and not as a representative of an organization.
Okay, there is now one of the questions that we somehow already covered, if there will be an email notification to the group members when a session is open. So maybe we can highlight again.
Yes, this is part of, also we have to see look at the time when it was put in, of course. Will there be notifications to group members when a session opens? Yes, but also maybe I come back to this because it might be very handy for people to see. I'm gonna roadmap. I'm just gonna share my screen once more, go to the project website, and I find this some great work by some of our colleagues in communications who have drafted a nice, here also you get nice information here on some of the on the project. We're active on LinkedIn, Twitter, and so on as well, which we're coming by. But I'm going towards the timeline, main page, scroll down and have a look at the full timeline. So here you see the full timeline of the project. So you can already see, although notifications will also be in place right now, when you will need to give your input. So the first session here, first Ambassador Online session is this session, right, starting in October, so 1st of October. You can already see, for example, the next one we will open, here. So second online session, so this will be in March next year, then in June next year. So we have 3. You see the fourth, let's see the fourth one. Fourth session is in November of next year, and then the final session here on the value proposition of research management is in March 2025. So we've done a lot of precise forward planning, of course, so to make sure we don't want to keep this open the whole time, but there's 2 weeks, 5 times 2 weeks spread over pretty much a year and a half for you to contribute.
Okay, very good. We have now one question from Francesca Spataro from Research Infrastructure.
Yes, but we have Roman there also because he commented on.
Okay, this is a comment from Roman. I was able to join the national group without doing EARMA registration.
Roman, could you have a look if you are logged in? Because if you're logged in already from the past, yeah, okay. So because you commented also that your email is already in use, this is because you probably did something on the EARMA website before and it has logged you in. So if you have done that before, then you can just go immediately to the groups.
Yes, so there are basically 2 paths. If you are already registered with an EARMA login, you can use the EARMA login and go to the RM roadmap groups. If you have not, then you need this specific registration.
Okay, yes. If you're logged in, then you will be able to go directly.
Perfect. Very good. Okay, so then to the question from Francesca, Research Infrastructure Manager for eBrains Italy. My question is it possible to create national RM groups based on different issues supported by the ambassadors? In which can we go for filling in RM platform?
I'm not fully sure, Francesca, so you'll have to elaborate a little bit more. So it is possible to create new co-creation exercises. We will also be starting thematic ones. So now we have per country, right? We're starting also the recruitment process near the end of this year for thematic ambassadors, which could have such things as proposal writers, project managers, research infrastructure managers, and so on, as different groups. We'll have probably about 8 or 10 of those types. That's one thing. There is a possibility, but we're not doing it for now, but to start intermediate sessions. If you find this a very useful platform and you agree with your ambassadors, you could in between also do sessions which are of national relevance. So I think it's that what you mean, but please add to the questions if it's something else.
Yes. Perhaps there's also, the question also refers to the national frameworks, if there can be specific initiative groups or meetings. In that case, if we're talking, for example, about Italy, get in contact with your ambassadors from Italy. You'll find the list that Nick also showed under the ambassadors tab on the RM Roadmap website. So connect directly with your ambassadors and see what is going on already. Yes, this is coming up on the platform right now, exactly. So under ambassadors, there's the list of RM Roadmap ambassadors. So you'll see that for each country, we have included contact details from your ambassadors. So some countries, they have already been active in the last months in setting up initiatives, meetings. So get in contact with them. Here in the case of Italy, for example, we have Adele Del Bello and Mirella Collini, who are the ambassadors, and associate ambassadors are Carmen Fiore and Alice Barbaglio.
Yeah.
When you see the RM Roadmap contact partners, so this is our contact partner from the project, who is kind of the direct contact from the ambassador side as well. In your case, as contributors of the community, contact directly your ambassadors, please.
Yes, absolutely. And especially as an Italian, I know you have lovely ambassadors, really knowledgeable people. So definitely in Italy, I have no doubts it will work out very well. I see that one of the next questions was solved already, Borana. So we can go to...
I think someone is now providing an answer.
Yes, but we've solved that one. There is when you check it is okay, we can go to the next one.
I see the one from Karina at the moment.
Yes, that one is solved. Yeah.
Okay. Then my next question is, I want to register myself. Oh, everything is moving here on the screen. But under institution, I don't see my institution. How can I continue? Okay,
I don't immediately know that one. So I'd have to go back and see.
Yes, I guess in cases where you are not aware about what is your institution and what email you are registered with, either you send an email to the general email address earma@earma.org, or you contact your contact point at your institution to let you know what is your email address that you can be registering with.
Yeah, definitely first have a very good look if it's not there in a different language or name or all of the translations, which I suppose you've done, and otherwise email earma@earma.org and they will help you out.
Okay, then the next question is, could you please get a copy of the participants list to this seminar? It would be very useful to learn who has listened to your explanation so that we can reinforce our dissemination activities.
I have to check on that
yes.
GDPR wise. I'm not sure.
If...
I don't think we have the consent to share it.
Yes, I think that the purpose of this webinar was to show you the knowledge and community platform. So we did not ask specifically to the participants to share their contact details. So we'll need to double check that if this will not be done.
We'll note it down to check it. So if that is the case, there will be definitely a follow-up email to this webinar, so to this event, and then we will include it there.
Maybe just to pick up on that, we are planning a follow-up email that normally will be going out tomorrow with the recording from this YouTube, and also just to remind you about the different guides and materials that we have on the EARMA website as well. So please expect a follow-up email soon. Then next question, how widely is this project being advertised? As I only stumbled on this by chance.
Okay, we've done a big effort to try and advertise it pretty much, I think, as never before. Starting from that consortium is built mainly of networks, EARMA, ASTP, CrowdHelix, BestPrac. And next to that, we have quite a few partners who put it out, like EUA put it out, for example. It was covered in media, in research, professional news, for example. And then we've tried to collaborate with all formal and informal networks of informal networks across Europe. And we have a extra layer of ambassadors to help us out with also putting the word out there. For example, I see her from King's College. For example, EARMA is also participating in this. And I'm not 100% sure which one, but I think also the knowledge transfer equivalent of EARMA in the UK.
Thank you. Then Andrea de Zwarte is writing, she is presenting herself. I am one of the ambassadors for the Netherlands. As of when will the ambassadors be able to post session announcements? I see that on the Netherlands country group, the first announcement are on communication dissemination, then the code of conduct, and then only the welcoming message. I would like to have this reversed as an ambassador. Can ambassador adjust this, or do you need that?
I actually made a small technical error in populating this. It is indeed the welcome should be first, so we're going to correct this after the session. But all the messages are there. Please have a look at all of the messages.
maybe it might be confusing, so I want to stress what Nick presented before, that group announcements are not the same as session announcements. So the ones that you are seeing now are the group announcements and are messages which are the same to all the groups. As an ambassador, you'll need to go to the session, to the co-creation session 1, for example, and then inside the session, you can create other session announcements. And if you go there, I think it should be already possible for you to post, for example, introduce yourself and include your email address as well.
Yeah, but important to say to everybody who's not an ambassador right now, this is for ambassadors, for you. This should not be an issue. Andrea said something else there, right?
There is a follow-up, I think,
yeah,
in the chart.
Yes,
yeah.
There was also what Andrea was saying, when will we be able to post as ambassadors. So currently we are logging on. It's important for ambassadors currently just to log on to register, and we will upgrade you to ambassador rights in the following days. And I think by Thursday you will have all of the rights to put in messages. So this Thursday.
Correct. Okay, next message. Is it possible to include links in announcements on the KCP platform which lead to an online questionnaire?
We have to see here. It is possible to leave it in a couple of places. I think it's in announcements as well. It is definitely the case in the sort of the session announcements, which the ambassadors can do. Please do be very, this is again a question for ambassadors, I think. Please be very selective in what you put there. We don't want to put too many things there. So make sure to align well before putting too much too much announcements.
In case this question is coming from a community contributor, then you can use the comments part of the platform. And then in that case, you also should be able to include links to online resources as well.
Yes, indeed. I was assuming that the person is an ambassador here. If you're a contributor, you cannot, right? You can only put it in the comments, but there you can include a link.
Okay, very good. We have a question on how to sign in as an ambassador rather than a contributor.
Yeah, it's Eitan. It's the same login, exactly the same. But for now, you're coming in as a contributor, and we're going to change the rights of ambassadors in the back end over the following days.
Okay,
so by Thursday. But we can only do it. Yeah, we can only do it to the ambassadors who have signed up at that point.
Okay, then we have another question. Okay, very good. Would you mind summing up again dates of input activity?
Yeah, okay. So when you can provide input, I'm trying to go back to the website. So you can find these on the homepage, scroll down. Well, here you also can see this is a file for the current session, right? So October 2nd to October 13th. And then the ambassadors will be at work creating the consensus document from October 16th to October 27th. And then we have the voting. So it's 2 working weeks, 2 working weeks, 2 working weeks. I think your question was towards the larger timeline. And when we look at the larger timeline, go to the website, scroll down until you get to the RM roadmap timeline. And here you can go and have a look at all of them. Here they are put in per month. So October of this year, and then you can go further and see here, for example, second session, March of next year. I think that's the second half of the month.
If you could show for me and also the guide for the contributors in the Community Connect, because you'll see in 2 different slides, there's a difference between this session 1 timeline and the full RM roadmap timeline as well. So for example, you go in Community Connect, scroll down, and then there is the guide and FAQ part. So step-by-step guide, you click on it. And then in the second slide, you'll see that this is the session 1 timeline. And then we have also included the link to the full timeline that you can see as well. And then the third slide, you'll see the full RM roadmap.
Yes, yeah, here you have them, of course.
And then if you're clicking again in the link, you'll find then the document that Nick just showed to you.
Yeah.
So you have it in one place, basically.
Okay, super. Thank you, Borana.
Thank you very much. Then the next question. Okay, I'm not sure.
It's Adriana now.
It's Adriana. Then maybe it was linked to another question. It says mine wasn't as well, and it asked me a small window open if I wanted to add it, and I clicked on
I
add, and
actually
that's
did it
what.
there, but
Probably it
my
was
position is not registered. Mine wasn't as well, and it asked me a small window opened, and I wanted to add it. Clicking on that. Okay, so Adriana seems to have added her organization. I hope that should be possible. Also, I think it is. So if you, the previous person, thank you, Adriana, for helping out there. So please have a look if you can solve it in that way, the person who asked, and otherwise contact earma@earma.org.
Okay, we have another question about international networks of universities, including RMs, if they can contribute to the thematic groups later on.
Yes, but keep in mind what we're trying to do here is look at the experience of the individual as part of the organization, right? So depends also what you mean by international networks of universities. It is the idea that when you join, that you as an individual, or you can have somebody else join for your organization, but has relevance and relevant experience within the specific country here, right? So if you, the Portuguese one is the relevant one for you, and you have to have knowledge of research management within Portugal, right? Or any other country. We will later on also have the thematic ones, which are starting next year, and we will be starting the recruitment for the thematic ones quite soon. So it depends a little bit what you mean there. But if you are a research manager, research support staff, research, whatever your title might be, you're in the broad category of research management, you can now join the relevant country and give your input as an individual, which can take on board everything that you have discussed. You can bring in people from that network. You can make your voices heard there, but it is the idea that you contribute as an individual. Of course, some of the questions are about national or international networks, and you can add there, this is our network, it does this, it has this many participants, it's relevant to policy, it's relevant to a funding agency. That's all super welcome, but you are participating in as an individual with knowledge of the specific country.
Okay, then we have a question. I'm registered as guest. How can I contribute?
Okay, I'll try to go back, and I'll share my screen. So you've already done this registration here in this one. I'm not logged in. Let's see if I have one where I am logged in. So I'll pull this one up. So if you are registered, you go to the top right, RM Roadmap Groups. You'll find your specific country. In this case, I'll be Bulgarian, and I will go into the Bulgarian group. And for now, read all of the information here. You can participate in this co-creation session, but it's not open yet, right? So it's only opening 2nd of October. And at that point, you will be able to type in your contribution here. What you can do for now to test if everything is working, you can go to the introduction and you can say hello. Here you can introduce yourself. This is what it will look like also. So here you give the input. And then reply. So there you can test that you are fully in and that you are fully able to post, in this case, in the Bulgarian group. So here it's very important always, RM Roadmap Groups, top right.
Okay, we have also some compliments from the colleagues online, big commendations on the platform, and then really nice implementation and visually appealing too. Thank you very much to everyone. Okay, then to the next question. Okay, I think there is a comment from one of the participants that reminded her on the Innovate UK platform for knowledge transfer partnership associates cohorts. Do you want to comment?
I'm not sure, Ada, or sorry if I mispronounced, but what you mean by what comes next after 18 months? Are you following dynamics for a minimum of 30 months? So what we're trying to do is pretty much we have 24 months to go as a project. We have more or less, it's a bit less than a year and a half of co-creation to do. But meanwhile, a lot of other activities are going on, desk study, focus group, and so on. We're going to bring all of this together into what is the RM roadmap. So a plan for research management to be professionalized, to be stronger, to be able to make the European RNI system stronger as well. We're going to then, well, first off, take all of these consensus documents. That will be at a much earlier stage. Immediately when we have them and we're ready to spread them, they will be spread to the member states, to countries across Europe, to the EU, to anybody who wants them. And really one of the key ideas here is, of course, that as a national community, you are able to look at what do the others do, what do they have, can I make contacts there, and see how to use that internally to make your network stronger, to make your organization stronger, to talk to your funding agency, to talk to your ministry, to talk to your rector, to talk to your director, whoever might be the relevant people, and that you can benchmark more, that there's a better clarity. We're going to give all of this also obviously to the European Commission to underpin policy that they are carrying out. And on the other hand, we're bringing this into the project, combining with the desk study, with the focus group, with the survey, which is also coming. Super important that you fill that out as well, and that we bring all of that together and say then at the end of this project, okay, this is where the research management community in Europe wants to go. This is the direction we want to go in for policymakers at the national level and at the EU level, or whatever may be the relevant level, that they can get better guidance on what research management is, what the community wants, and what it can do for the R&I system, so we can all move forward in a better way.
Very good. We have a question regarding the thematic ambassadors. When do you plan to recruit for the thematic ambassadors?
Yeah, okay, we're still, the approximate timeline is there, but we're still looking at the exact timeline. I think November or December, we are going to launch the call for that. I think it will, before the end of the year, close even, so it is quite close. Because we want the thematic ambassadors also to join us already at the ambassador meeting in Lisbon, which is 12th to 13th, I think, of March. Just keep in mind, that's not for everybody. That is specifically for the ambassadors. So you should be looking out for that in November or December.
Yes, and we'll do, of course, extra communication to let the community know that it is upcoming. Okay, there is a comment, but I think it's linked from...
Yeah, I think this was covered somewhere else or in the chat. Yeah.
Then would contributors help ambassadors recruit more contributors? Good question.
Yeah, it says ought, right? So they don't have to, but it's really, as I said before, what we're trying to do as European Association with a budget of a European project, but in the grand scheme of things for 40 countries, quite limited. So everything that you can do to mobilize people to help in this effort is very welcome, but nobody is forced or nobody is obliged to do it. But yes, please use. That's also, like I said, collaborate, bring in people who can help with the consensus document, that want to help spread the message, that want to help present, that want to be sort of mini ambassadors for their organization or their region or whatever. That is very much welcome. Collaborate, and bring people on to be able to have a loud voice towards the stakeholders that we have.
We have a question from one of the participants asking if we reached out to national networks in order to disseminate the knowledge about the project. I haven't heard anything from the German organization.
Okay. Yes, we absolutely did. I think especially 2 German organizations we involved. I'm not involved in, because there's so many in directly what's happening in each country, but definitely 2, and I think quite a few more. We've also worked a bit through some of the big universities or the actors who are active in Germany, such as the University College of or the University of Applied Sciences in Osnabrück, who has a master's currently ongoing on research management. So yes, definitely also with the Germans.
And also we have ambassadors from Germany as well. So our direct contacts to the German contacts, the German ambassadors. So do link also with your ambassadors. Maybe they have already started some activities, and please be in touch.
Yeah, I know now, for example, also that one of the ambassadors is from EARMA in Germany.
Okay, do you have an idea of the topics of thematic groups?
Yes, we have an idea, but we cannot share it yet because it's very, we need to make some decisions there, and it's also very, like it goes back to one of the questions that was formed, collaboration with Cardea, collaboration in policy context. So we're trying to see, because it's quite tricky, as you know, there is no standardized terminology. We're still trying to see which are the exact right names or the ones that we want to choose. So I think this will only become public in November, and it's not fully decided.
Okay, we have, I think it's rather a comment than a question from Ada. Many research managers in Romania are certified as innovation managers, yet poor PM strategies and institutional level and MLM tactics needed for recruitment of contributors.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what the MLM is. Yeah. Okay, we have 2 ambassadors in Romania, and I think 2 or more. Sorry if it's more. I don't know the specifics of all of the countries, but who are trying to spread it there. And also, if there is a innovation manager association or network which is linked into ASTP, which is the knowledge transfer, sort of the knowledge transfer European network, or equivalent then on the knowledge transfer side, then they will also have gotten the information through their council from the different countries.
We have a question from Gancho. Are there organizations from Bulgaria? I'm representing the Institute for Technology Transfer and Innovation and would like to participate.
Yeah, in any case, you can participate regardless of other organizations from Bulgaria, but we definitely have Bulgarian ambassadors, and there are Bulgarian organizations that are participating for sure.
The next question is again looking beyond Europe. Do you think about sharing this experience and knowledge with countries that are still at an early stage of development in the area of research management, such as Latin American countries?
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're looking to share this with everybody. The project is open access, open data, open everything, and definitely also open sharing with other countries and other regions of the world. The very interesting thing about Europe is, well, one of the difficult things, of course, is that it is very diverse with smaller countries, bigger countries, large populations, with very R&D intensive, less R&D intensive, or R&I. And also in research management, more developed, less developed. So I think that will be a very interesting proposition to see. And already with the consensus documents, we hope to publish as soon as possible within the next months, or at least by early next year. You will be able to look at the 40 countries from a certain perspective in this co-creation and see which ones might align better with your experience. We're also designing the roadmap to be useful to all, right? To those who are really quite strong in research management already, and those who have little or nothing. The thing is, of course, you could say, how can you do that and create such a large and broad spectrum? And the answer to that is, we're not trying to prescribe and say exactly what you have to do, right? We're trying to offer benchmarking, knowledge, history, standards that you can use, because in the end, especially because Europe is so so diverse in the context of research, the national R&I systems, we are wanting to give you that, and then it is up to the national level, the national system, to go and work with it. So really, Latin America, or whatever country in Latin America, can also have a look at this exercise and use it however they want, and pretty much the same as a European country would use it. And I think it will largely translate what we're trying to do. Probably it won't be 100%, of course.
Thank you, Nick. We have another question from Eva. Do you make sure in your wording that the action is taught not only for RMAs in universities, but also for RMAs in research institutions?
Yes, okay. That's an important point as well. So we are trying to ensure that. I hope we didn't slip up in some of them. And even it's not just about RMAs in universities, research institutions. Even some would say the difference between, in some cases, universities of applied science or universities, but it's all. Even people, although this is an academic project, mainly also people from the private industry could join. We're not expecting many people from the private industry, but it can be small, private, public, hospital, university, University of Applied Sciences, whatever it might be. If you're supporting research in Europe and there is a relevant country for you, then you are very welcome to join. And in the terminology, we're hoping to be as neutral as possible in there. Having said that, of course, I do recognize that there are a lot of people from universities involved in this exercise.
Okay, we have other 2 questions, so we are getting at the final part of this webinar and training. So colleagues, in case you have any additional questions, this is the time. Please do include them in the Q&A. So I'll start with the next Oh, I think there is only one more question then, because the other one we already responded to. So what is the plan of recruiting RMA ambassadors via universities? For example, staff already working permanent there and want to have a career change.
Now, there might be a misconception about the ambassadors here. The ambassadors are a volunteering role, right? So we are not recruiting via universities per se, right? So it's a volunteering role, temporary volunteering role within the project, and we are trying to make that public to the whole country, or work through national associations or networks that are established, and through them get people who will remain in their job, but who will also become sort of an ambassador, a go-between, a link, a liaison for the ARM roadmap project.
Okay, I think we do not have at the moment other questions pending. So
yes, there's one coming.
There is one additional one. Okay. What other counterpart projects at global level? So?
I'm not sure that there is at this. There could definitely be, and there are definitely initiatives. I know something has been happening in the US, but I'm not quite sure if it is. Probably won't be the counterpart, but there's been a lot of professionalization efforts and projects in the US over the years. There has been an exercise in Japan on university research administrators. I know Southern Africa has also been quite active. So I can't point directly at sort of what the exact counterpart would be, but there are quite a few projects that have been relevant globally, but really exactly the same or equivalent to ours, not that I am aware of, or at least not networked into us. We are, of course, engaging with a lot of countries to see what their best practices are, what they are doing. There is currently in Europe then, for example, a roadmap in the Netherlands, for the Netherlands specifically, and there are other projects, but I can't point immediately at that there would be a counterpart to us at global level, because the project here is funded by the EU with a European focus.
If the question maybe is beyond the project and goes more into the RM associations that are across the globe, then of course there are others and many more. So like the US and Cura, you have also Sarima in South Africa, and you have many counterparts of research manager associations basically in all continents. And iNorms is somehow bringing this all together in a global dialogue as well. Maybe it's also to say that iNorms will take place in Europe in 2025 in Madrid. So EARMA will host the iNorms conference 2025.
Yes, I think because some information has been added on the type of project. I believe those are the projects which is sort of the European research area, how they are in touch with different parts of Europe, and well, different parts of the world. Sorry. But it's not, let's say, directly linked into that, although there could be links in the future. But for example, we are not collaborating, or we have no sort of equivalent activity as would be in the actions that you are putting in there.
Okay. I think there are no questions at the moment.
Yeah, there's one. Yeah.
I think rather, okay, someone is saying, thank you very much for the professional introduction. Good luck for the successful Iron roadmap kickoff. Thank you very much.
Much thanks, Siegfried.
Okay. So Nick, anything to be added before the final wrap up from your side?
No. So I think we're pretty much coming to the conclusion of this. It's just an exciting exercise. We've worked really hard to get this into the right phase with a lot of people. So I think hundreds have been involved in getting this where it is now. So I hope it will become something that is especially very relevant for the profession and has an impact to improve the daily lives of everybody participating. And then finally, also, of course, for the research and innovation system in Europe and the global system.
Okay, so thank you very much to all of you who joined us online. So before finishing this webinar, I also want to recognize all the colleagues who have been on the backstage today and have been working hard to make happen, that all the material was together, that the platform was launched, and we had all the main functionalities. So I want to thank in particular Sara, Janina, Teresa, Niall, Francisco, and Stiliani from CrowdHelix. And in case I forgot anyone, you know that we appreciate very much your support for today. And thank you to all the participants of this webinar. You will be receiving a follow-up email. For those who have not been on our registration list, don't worry. So we are collecting all the information on the EARMA website as well as on the Research Management Helix. And you can already register. So we are officially opening the groups, the 40-country communities today, but prepare for next week to participate more actively to the co-creation exercise. So join starting today, and then more information about the co-creation will be posted by the ambassadors next week, and then everyone will have the opportunity to express their voice and make this big consultation happen. Thank you very much to everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.